Of Africa. Climbing the 19,341-foot summit will take us through 5 climate zones. We'll pass through cultivation, forest, moorland, alpine desert, and finally Arctic ice as we enter into the barren but breathtaking landscape of Kilimanjaro. To conquer this challenge, we have to give everything and push ourselves to the limit, both physically and mentally. But the rewards are worth it, including the sense of wonder we'll experience as we look down on the earth below. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Our trip started in Canada. Bob and I met up in Toronto, a total surprise to me. I thought we were connecting in Amsterdam. A quick flight across the North Atlantic, a few hours to kill in Amsterdam, and then south to Tanzania. After a day of traveling, all that was left was a 60-minute taxi ride from JRO to Moshi. Immediately, it reminded me of our previous trip by the overwhelming smell of diesel and burnt clutch. Welcome to Africa. From the 4th floor of our hotel, we are presented with a stunning view of Kilimanjaro. All 3 peaks are clearly visible, just 32 kilometers north as the crow flies.
My bag, what was your bag weigh?
Just under 13, 14 kilos.
And mine came in at 13.5, and so I don't know what we did, but we did something right compared to last year. We were pulling stuff out of our bags.
We don't climb one of the world's highest mountains alone. We are joined by fellow climbers from France, Switzerland, Canada, United States, and the United Kingdom. And we will be led by an experienced climbing team made up of 4 guides, 1 cook, and 31 porters. This is a large multi-day expedition made up of both professionals and amateurs alike. We're very fortunate to be part of this team. Our team of 10 hikers and 4 guides all packed into this Toyota bus. Here is a great picture of our Switzerland-France team members. Good luck keeping up with them. Our UK team, fantastic couple of guys. And here are 3 of our 4 guides. Our lead guide, August, and 2/3 of our US team. The drive from Moshi to Londerosa Gate is about 2 hours and takes you from the south side of Kilimanjaro to the start of your trek on the west side of Kili. Here our gear is unloaded, and then 5 kilograms of additional gear is added to our 15 kilogram personal gear limit, and then assigned to a porter. So each porter is carrying 20 kilograms or 44 pounds. Okay, here is a quick overview of the Lemosho route and what we have ahead of us. Climbing Kilimanjaro is all about acclimatization. An elevation of about 20,000 feet above sea level is the maximum height at which sufficient oxygen exists in the air to sustain us. Higher Peak, a Massachusetts-based company, publishes an altitude oxygen chart listing the effective amount of oxygen at different altitudes. They have 6 different categories of air, starting at sea level, low, 3,000 feet, medium, 8,000 feet, high, 13,000 feet, very high, 18,000 feet, extreme, and 26,000 feet, ultra. At 19,341 feet, Kilimanjaro is extreme. At sea level, the air we breathe contains 21% oxygen. At 20,000 feet, only 9.7% of air is made up of oxygen, less than half. The major cause of altitude illness is going too high, too fast. Given time, your body can adapt to the decrease in oxygen molecules at a specific altitude. This process is known as acclimatization and generally takes 1 to 3 days at that altitude. Decreased air pressure means that less oxygen is available for breathing. One normal effect of altitude is shortness of breath, since the lungs have to work harder to deliver oxygen to the bloodstream. Typical symptoms are headaches followed by at least one or more of the following symptoms: loss of appetite, nausea, vomiting, dizziness, insomnia, and fatigue. As you begin to acclimatize, you will experience an increase in heart rate and decrease in stroke volume. During acclimatization, over a few days, the body produces more red blood cells to counteract the lower oxygen saturation in blood in high altitudes. The Lemosho route is designed specifically for this purpose. The longer you are on the mountain, the better chance you have of acclimatization and ultimately summiting. I'm displaying two charts here. The top right is the route. You can see we start on the west side of the mountain at Londerosa Gate and work our way eastward across the Shira Plateau. At Lava Tower, we turn south and start a counterclockwise trek across the southern face of Kilimanjaro, including Barako Camp, Karanga Camp, and Brafu. This route serves two purposes. Number one, looking at the side profile chart in the bottom left corner, you can see that from day 3, Mori Hut onwards, we never go below 13,000 feet. We climb high during the day and sleep low at night. After Mori Hut, on day 4, we climb to 15,000 feet at Lava Tower for lunch, but then descend back to Barako Camp at 13,000 feet to sleep. On day 5, we climb the Barako Wall to approximately 14,000 feet, and then descend back to Karanga Camp to sleep at 13,000 feet. It's not until day 6 do we stay above 15,000 feet. The second purpose of the transition from west to east is the east side of Kilimanjaro is better suited for non-technical climbs. Now, our team was very fortunate. We got a special permit from the Tanzania government to bypass Barafu Camp and stay at Kosovo Camp at 16,000 feet. It's not shown on this profile map. That put us 800 feet vertically closer to the summit, further increasing our chances of success. Leaving Londerosa Gate, it is a short hike to the beginning of Lemosho Trail. Lemosho Trail starts in the rainforest at 6,890 feet. The hike from Lemosho Gate to Makubo Camp is only 7 kilometers and took us less than 4 hours. That was long enough for us on our first day, as so much of this day was logistics. Checking luggage into hotel storage, securing valuables with the hotel, weighing bags, 2 hours of transportation, lunch. It wasn't until early afternoon that we actually started climbing the mountain. The hike to Makubo Camp is all rainforest, filled with monkeys. As a matter of fact, you need to keep your boots inside your tent at Makubo so you still have boots in the morning. Monkeys love to grab things and run. That night we retreated to cucumber soup, potato, and fried fish. Fantastic.
Just around 1:30 in the morning. And unfortunately, when did you first start hearing him throw up?
Hours ago. It was violent. He's going to get lower.
So he's already got altitude sickness. I have a headache, and I've taken a Tylenol. My oxygen is right up. It's at 96. My pulse is down from 100 down to 75, so I'm starting to acclimatize. Your pulse is lower than mine. Your oxygen is just about the same. You're at 94, and 93, and 68. I have a splitting headache now. Waiting for it to disappear. Oh my God. Morning. Started day 2. A little bit of a rough night. Got some sleep until about 1 o'clock, and then was awake from there pretty much onwards. Unfortunately, a fellow camper fell ill to altitude sickness and was vomiting and then dry heaves for 6 hours straight. Well, we don't know the fate of him yet. We haven't seen him this morning. So I really felt for him there last night. Anyway, Bob and I maybe got back to sleep somewhere around 4:30 in the morning and then woke up at 6:13. So beautiful morning here, a little bit cooler, but the sun's going to be out. I've switched from shorts to pants and looking forward to probably my most difficult day.
The climb from Makubwa to Shira 1 camp is a significant hike. A year ago, due to weather, missed flights, and a general lack of sleep, this was our most difficult hiking day for both Bob and I. This was definitely on our minds as we climbed out of the rainforest towards Shira Peak. Shira Peak stands at a staggering height of 13,140 feet tall.
That is a long ways away. I think our downhills are done. And we now start at least 2,000, maybe 2,500 feet, up to 12. I'm not sure what we're at. I'm going to say 2,000 feet up, and then around
we are
the
at
rim.
10,200 right now.
There you go. So we go up exactly 2,000 feet from here.
Is it straight up or is it up and down?
No, you can see the trail. This is it.
Okay. So the up and down part is over.
Mostly, yes. Yes, that's a good question, yeah.
Okay.
And then at the top there, you go around and then descend down to about 11,200 for sure.
Okay, so we're going to go up to 12,000 something and then
12,
we're going to descend
pretty
to our
much
camp.
12,000 even.
Then we go to Shira 1.
Yeah.
At the top of the Shira Peak, there is a broad plateau known as Shira Plateau. Tonight, we will be camping at Shira 1 camp, located at the Shira Plateau at an elevation of 11,500 feet. The Shira Plateau is a World Heritage Site that plays host to deep valleys and weather-beaten lava flows. The hike to Mori Hut from Shira 1 camp takes us across the Shira Plateau, mostly flat with just a gentle upslope for the first few miles. On our trail to Mori Hut, we cross the Shira Evacuation Road located at about 12,000 feet. This is the highest a hiker can be rescued by road on Kilimanjaro. Above this elevation, there are a scattering of helipads at key locations around the mountain for high-altitude rescue. In the vicinity of the road, our trail splits in two, with one trail heading more southerly towards Shira 2 camp and our trail heading higher directly towards the summit up the valley to Mori Hut.
Jumbo!
Jumbo bueno.
France! Justin!
Mori's camp is a scenic campsite hidden in a valley surrounded by steep slopes and hills known as the Lent Hills, which are usually used to acclimatize, especially when you're using the Lemosho route. It is most probably one of the quietest camps on the mountain and is located at 13,800 feet.
Okay, go.
Where did we start off today?
Shira 1
Shira
camp.
1?
Yeah.
We saw Shira 2 camp.
We did,
First time.
and we never saw that last year.
The weather was incredible. A nice breeze the whole way. There was a little bit of frost on the ground this morning.
So absolutely brilliant sunshine this morning. We left at 8:19, arrived at 1:50. So we were less than 6 hours, and he was saying it was going to take us 6 to 7 hours. So we're like Olympians.
Nice pace.
It was a good pace. We went from 11.5 to 13.8. Yeah, I had a fall Rock just slipped out from underneath me, banged the right side of my leg, my right arm, my head, and I cut open my right hand. And the right hand is pretty sore. That's what's shaking the camera right now. I'll change hands. August is talking about a bonus hike, but I think even he doesn't want to do the bonus hike. Did you hear that last bit? This is unreal, eh? Half of the team has some level of altitude sickness, but I also have the nausea. So they're, of course, wanting you to eat, and I tasted the soup and tasted the pasta, and that was it. One of our American travelers is really bad. His oxygen is at 71, so they're watching him really carefully. I'm at 90, so my oxygen is okay, but I've got the symptoms of the high altitude, headache and nausea, so I expect I'll fully recover, but I gotta tell you, it's not pleasant. Our American friend is very likely going to be descending tomorrow with a porter, and for me, I've got, I asked for a pail to have in the tent, so if I throw up, it's going into something, and I think I got a really rough night ahead of me.
Day 4 was spectacular, but tough going for those of us that were sick during the night. I threw up at 2 o'clock in the morning and immediately started to feel better. The climb out of Morey Hut is gentle and provides a spectacular view of the valley. The morning climb brings us to the majestic lava tower, a 300-foot tall ancient plug that was left by the active volcanic days. Although the walk is not too steep, it is nonetheless a long and strenuous one due to the high altitude. Our bodies will begin to notice the decrease in oxygen. On this part of the journey, the landscape becomes more barren, with even more rocks and lava ridges.
We're looking at Lava Tower in the distance.
Some sugar, Dwayne?
No, thank you.
Our new surroundings at Lava Tower will consist of a high-altitude desert with no vegetation and pools of rocks and scree and dust as far as the eye can see. Symptoms of altitude sickness are common here, but not to worry, because this is one of the reasons why we have come here, to allow for proper altitude acclimatization.
It was amazing.
Yeah. What was the pace like?
Snail pace,
But good.
but good.
Yeah.
We made it.
We made it. Yeah. And look outside.
Oh, another bridge. Or was that there?
Hey, there's another bridge.
After lunch, the 7-kilometer hike down to Barako Camp, a drop of 2,146 feet, should take us less than 3 hours. On this trail, we will walk through a forest of giant crownsel, sunflower family native to the higher altitude zones near the equator in East Africa. These include Mount Meru, Kenya, Kilimanjaro, and a handful of others. The descent path will provide picturesque views of Barako Wall, which we will climb tomorrow.
We've got a good view here of Barako Wall and the trail going up Barako Wall. You can't quite see to the top, it's in cloud. But that's the first thing tomorrow morning. It's a 1,000 feet vertical. Barako Camp is right at the base of that trail, and it takes us 2 hours to summit. Barako Camp. Very long descent. Barocco Wall. Very high ascent. That's tomorrow morning. So somewhere in there our tents are set up.
Barocco Camp hosts views of Kibo, the western breach, and the beginning of the southern glaciers.
Lava Tower, the meal was awesome. Fries and chicken.
Mountain, whatever, high altitude sickness. He took them down to 12,000 feet for a high altitude rescue from there. So basically they walked them out, two or three of them walked them out. And then August, not missing a beat, essentially went straight up to Shira 2 camp, which we've never been to, and then straight up towards Lava Tower, and then took a detour and didn't go quite to Lava Tower and split off to go to Barocco. And he was here, what, 2 hours before us?
No,
Yeah, you know, not bad considering my day started with vomiting at 2 o'clock in the morning.
you eat a bit of food too?
I ate a bit of food too, and I'll probably have a little bit for dinner. And we put our poles away for tomorrow morning because we're doing Barocco Wall first thing. And tomorrow is the beginning of the second half of our Kilimanjaro. We're at Barocco Camp, and I'm looking down towards Moshi. Population 1.6 million, 13,000 feet below us. And it just looks like a sea. You could be looking at an ocean. It is morning in Barocco Camp. Beautiful morning. And here is Barocco Wall, which we're doing right after breakfast. They call it breakfast. They've stopped calling it Barocco Wall. They just call it breakfast.
Great picture of our entire team.
Good job, Caitlin. Mr. Orr.
The climb up Barocco Wall is at times a scramble. No poles for this climb. You need both hands to be free. Sometimes it's just best to close your eyes. You sure don't want to see someone fall.
The next section sucks.
Yeah! All right! Woo! Big smooch! Come on!
I thought it was little, but it's fine.
Looking down at Barocco Camp. And the trail that comes to Barocco Camp from Lava Tower goes way up there. Pretty amazing. And then as you follow up, you head up towards 13,000. You can't actually see Barocco Camp from here, but you can see the helipad right there. Helipad's about 13,200, 13,300, something like that.
Somebody's dining in style. The trek between Barocco Camp and Karanga Camp says it's only 5 kilometers. I have to say, with the Barocco Wall and the Karanga Valley, it felt a lot more than that.
Right above the cliff there. Then it goes across that sort of that flat plateau area.
Just when you think you've made Karanga Camp, you're presented with one more 300-foot deep valley to descend and climb. Karanga Camp seems more desolate, more exposed, more vulnerable. It's not sheltered or surrounded by mountains the way Barranco Camp is. It is wide open on the face of the mountain.
Kilimanjaro, about 6:30 p.m. Karanga Camp. And look at this view. This is breathtaking. Tomorrow night, we're going to be at 16,000 feet on the east side of that mountain, if all things go well. And then at midnight, we do our best to make it to the summit. Karanga Camp, morning of day 6. Absolutely glorious. Today we push for base camp.
The climb out of Karanga Camp is a gentle but steady climb up the mountain towards the top of the ridge. We start at the boundary of the moorlands in the alpine desert zone. While vegetation was sparse, there were lots of clumps of grass. We quickly ascended out of the moorlands and the vegetation almost completely disappeared, leaving us to hike among the dust and the angular lava rocks. August used this climb to demonstrate proper summit technique for the next night. This was a far more disciplined climb. Slow pace, single line, remain in line, stop together.
So where are we, August?
This is Baraf Lower Camp.
So we're just right around 15.
Yeah, around 15,000 feet.
15,000? Jumbo.
We won't be tenting at Barafu. We will rest there, then climb an additional 800 feet to Kosovo Camp. This was a relatively easy day, especially when compared to day 2, Makubwa to Shira, or day 4, Mori Hut all the way up to Lava Tower and then down to Barranco Camp.
Are you filming me?
Let's go.
It's my double chin.
So either Bob and I are loud or we stink because they keep putting our tent further away from everybody else.
We're not taking it personally.
Oh, we're on a hill, but it's not. I don't think it's as bad as last night, eh?
No, it's better.
It's better. Like, last night we sort of slept
Together. I was in cold once. I thought I was sleeping by my bag, but it was happened to be Dwayne's leg.
Oh yeah, we were spooning a little bit. Man, I can't believe we're back at 16,000. I feel pretty good. I wonder why. We should take our oxygen a bit and see where we're at.
Yeah, I would like.
Yeah.
I bet you I'm probably
Low?
80s.
Well, it's just a matter. We're not going to be in the 90s for sure, but we'll either be in the lower or middle 80s. We won't be in the high 80s. So, what about today? Like easy peasy?
It was okay right till the end, and then
Yeah.
I just ran out of air, but I'm fine now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a shower.
We should stick a deodorant. Okay, we're done? Okay, bye. Here's a quick view of Kili from our tent. Can't quite see the top, but you can see the trail that we're starting at midnight. Anyway, I gotta go eat. Bob and I are at 16,000 feet. And
Warmest camp ever.
yeah, we've been freezing the whole flip and trip. There we go. So you're already in the 8. Look at you. Holy shit.
Good.
You're doing awesome. Can't quite read it. There we go. Oh, my pulse is lower. Like, I'm in so much better shape than Bob, it's embarrassing.
Had a big meal.
Bob, okay, there. Now I'm getting readings. I'm back with you. You and I are always the same. 86, 109. As soon as I start filming, the clouds are moving in. It's 5 p.m. So we're about 6 hours from departure for the summit. We just finished our health checks. Of the 10 members, 9 remaining, 8 of us passed. None of us with flying colors. I read in the tent earlier, both Bob and I were around 87. When we read in the tent, where they actually do the medical exam, I was at 80. And Bob was at 82, I think, or 83. So both of those are passes, so we're both a go. Fortunately, one of the team members came in at 67, 68, so that person hasn't passed yet. And they tried all 10 fingers, warming them up, and you put your fingers underneath your armpit to warm them up, and they couldn't get anything above 68 or 67, which is not a pass. So they haven't said no yet to this individual, but they're going to we're going to have dinner. We just had lunch 3 hours ago at 2 o'clock. We're going to have dinner at 5 o'clock, which is now, and they'll do another health check on that person, and hopefully it goes okay. So right now there's 8 of us that are go for the summit.
Our summit night started at 11:40 p.m. with a goal of being at the summit at sunrise. Last year I stopped at 17,200 feet. I had lost partial use of my left leg and was experiencing significant discomfort. This year, starting at 16,000 feet, our goal was to take a 3-minute rest break every 45 minutes. I don't know what our time intervals were, but I did record our elevation at every stop. We stopped for 3 to 4 minutes at 16,897 feet, 17,360 feet, 17,727 feet, 17,925 feet, 18,273 feet, 18,489 feet, and 18,885 feet, which is Stella Point, the very rim of the crater. Like a year earlier, I lost some mobility in my left leg above 18,000 feet. This time, I just pushed through it. Stella Point. It took us 5 hours and 45 minutes, almost 6 hours, to climb the eastern crater wall of Kilimanjaro from Kosovo at 16,000 feet to Stella Point at 18,885. A hike of only 2.4 kilometers and an elevation gain of 2,885 feet. In the very thin air, our average climb rate was only 8.36 feet per minute. How slow is this? As a comparison, it would take you a full minute to climb a single flight of stairs, just 7 steps. How steep is the trek to Stella Point? I really don't know, because we climbed it at night. Take a look at this daytime shot. Here we are looking east, straight down the mountain. Now I'm going to pan up to the sign. Wow! Maybe it's a good thing we climb it at night. The hike from Stella Point to Yahura Peak is approximately 1 kilometer with an elevation gain of just over 450 feet. This is a welcome relief after 6 hours of crater wall climbing. The glimpse of light on the horizon was a welcoming sight. I had not been able to feel my feet for more than 4 hours. Even though I was dressed properly, at times I was shivering almost uncontrollably. I love this shot. We're about halfway between Stella Point and the peak, just above 19,000 feet. The light on the horizon is starting to illuminate our surroundings. In the distance, you can see Mount Mawenzi at 16,893 feet, over 2,000 feet below us. You can also see headlights and other climbers behind us, closer to Stella Point. With our world becoming illuminated, we discovered that we've already climbed above one of the glaciers. Wow! It took us the better part of an hour to make the final kilometer and few hundred feet. Now, for the first time, we could see the sun. Life returns to the mountain. Within minutes, we would begin to feel its heat. Look at this spectacular shot. This isn't another mountain. This is the shadow of Kilimanjaro stretching dozens of miles across the African savanna. Here's a great shot of the southern ice field of Furtwängler Glacier. This is without a telephoto, just a cell phone, so the glacier is closer than it appears. Looking back east at our hike from Stella Point to Shira Peak, Mount Mawenzi's shadow is amazing. We made it. Our group of 6 made it. According to our Tanzania Mount Kilimanjaro certificates, we summited at 6:45 a.m. on February 23, 2023. Our A team from Switzerland and France departed Kosovo camp after us and summited before us at 5:53 a.m. Well done. Here's another look at the southern ice field of Furtwängler Glacier as seen from the summit of Kilimanjaro. Now look at this. We're looking north into the crater towards Kenya. You can see glaciers on the horizon. You can see the walls of Kilimanjaro ash pit. Looking east, you can see the trail from Crater Camp up to Stella Point. And you can see Stella Point. Now here I'm going to zoom in. You can even see people standing at Stella Point, as well as people hiking from Stella Point to Shira Peak. Amazing. The return hike was surreal. Having largely recovered from the ascent and heat returning to our bodies, we found ourselves in an unreal world, almost a different planet. Simply put, you're above everything. Last few pictures of glaciers before our descent. Yeah, the money shot, thousands of feet above a solid deck of clouds, the roof of Africa. We stopped to take a quick drink at Stella Point before beginning our descent, only to find my bottle mostly frozen. Now here we are somewhere around 18,000 feet on the descent. This is an amazing picture. You can clearly see our Kosovo camp at 16,000 feet, Brafu Hut 800 feet lower, as well as our trail that we need to travel today towards Millennium and Mawika camps. Although the descent trail is also on the east side of Kili, it is a very different path, largely made up of loose shale. We were allowed 1 hour to rest, then back on the trail. By the end of today, they wanted us another 6,000 feet lower.
Departed for the summit at 20 to 12. Summited at 7 p.m.
Move over.
And back to the...
Want your boots off?
Yeah, take my boots off, please. I undid them, but then I forgot what I was doing. And then we got back to the camp at 10. So 7 hours, 20 minutes going up, 3 hours coming down. Hardest thing I ever did in my life. I can't even compare it to anything. I lost use of my left leg at 18,000. It just started to sort of drag. I didn't notice it, but Caitlin did.
Catalina.
And then I lost balance and I couldn't raise my head. If I looked up, I would roll over. And by the end, I think I was just dragging my poles.
Yeah, you were. You tripped me.
At 12,579 feet, just up the mountain from Millennium Camp, we witnessed our 7th high-altitude rescue in the last 7 days. One a day. By day's end, Bob and I had been hiking for just over 18 hours. Our 8th day, starting at Mawika Camp, was a very special day for our team. It was our turn to say thank you. This trip would not have been possible without our incredible porters. 31 porters carried our gear up Kilimanjaro. Our team of 9 climbers donated 31 piles of clothing and gear as a small token of our appreciation. What a fantastic group of people.
All of you have inspired us.
Nyie kama wa Tanzania wagumu nyie ndio mmewapa nani mpaka wakaweza kufanya
Three. Okay. Whoa, we gotta hear some singing. Come on, let's hear some singing.
Thank you very much.
Wanizunguka, wataka kulila nyama. Na mawenzi, mlima mrefu sana. Mara machame, muna wanizunguka.
The hike to Mawika Gate gave us our last couple views of Kilimanjaro. What an amazing experience. To all of you that we shared this experience with, thank you. Thank you for one of the most memorable and enjoyable weeks of our lives.